and I'll begin my general thoughts on the groups and the group stages. So before we get into that, I should probably explain, it's been a little while, it's been about 2 weeks now since we have uploaded a video, and I do apologise. I mean, I really have missed this, I really have. Unfortunately, I had the flu. I just had an illness for literally about 2.5 weeks. I'm not sure what it was. I couldn't get rid of it. I tried every trick under the sun, but couldn't get rid of it. And that stopped me from posting videos, unfortunately. But we are back. I mean, technically, I'm still not fully recovered, but we're back. I've got a lot of video ideas planned, ready to go, of course, because I wanted to make videos during this time, but couldn't. We're back. Maybe not as often as I ease myself in, but I wanted to get a video out for you guys today, and I wanted to talk about the group stages. So let's get back into it. Hopefully you guys are still watching me. So let's go through. Start off in Group A. So Bayern Munich are the first team. So Bayern Munich top the group. They won 5, drew 1, and lost 0. An unbeaten record. 12 goals scored, 6 goals against, 6 goal difference, and 16 points. Now, even though they were unbeaten, I actually don't think this was an incredible performance by Bayern. Now, Bayern are historically a team who always do fantastic in the group stages, so going unbeaten is great, but they always kind of do that. And the reason I don't think it's that impressive, one, because I think when we all looked at the group when this was drawn, everyone actually had Bayern top in the group, and with a bit of ease, to be honest, as the other teams in this group are not really on Bayern's level, and I think we did see that in this group. However, despite them having an unbeaten run, a lot of the games were a lot closer than anticipated. For example, the Man United game, I know they weren't really trying, but 1-0. The Galatasaray one, 2-1. This was probably their best performance, 3-1 away from home against Galatasaray. But the Copenhagen game's really close, United game really close, and then of course dropping points at home to Copenhagen. I don't think that's necessarily the best. But having said all of that, to top the group, go unbeaten, only drop 2 points. That's still impressive, so I'll give them an 8 out of 10. I think the performances weren't the best, but they got the results. Copenhagen came in second with 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, 8 goals, scored and 8 goals against with 8 points. Consistent. And, well, unlike Bayern, I think a lot of people didn't have Copenhagen going through when this group was drawn. In fact, most people didn't. But Copenhagen really defied the odds and managed to get through a pretty difficult group. And you look at their performances, every single game they were in it till the last second, really. From that opening day, they were unfortunate not to win at Galatasaray. They drew 2-2 there. This game here, they really should have got something out of again. Beat Man United, went to the Allianz and drew with Bayern, and also narrowly lost to Bayern in the easy. I expect a little bit more from Galatasaray. However, having said that, to finish third in this group is not the end of the world. I think if you had told them at the start when this group was drawn that they're going to finish third, I think they would have bit your hand off at that and been pretty content with that. So it's not the end of the world. It was an okay campaign. Expect a little bit better. I'll give them a 5 out of 10. Alright, Man United in fourth. 1 win, 1 draw, 4 losses, 12 scored and 15 conceded with 4 points. It's a straight 0 out of 10. It cannot be anything else. This was one of the most embarrassing group stage campaigns I've seen ever, really, from a team. Man United, 15 goals conceded is absolutely crazy. To have just 1 win and 1 draw in this group when most people said this was a tough group, but they should be getting out of. Every single game as well was just calamity for the game they won as well. They were battered by Copenhagen realistically and had to get a penalty save in the 90th minute just to secure that win. It was absolute calamity. Onana has blood on his hands though. A lot of in fact, every single loss was on him, to be fair, but in general, it couldn't really have gone any worse. They went out in the worst possible fashion, 0 out of 10. Alright, Group B, Arsenal. So Arsenal came out on top with 4 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, 16 scored, 4 conceded, and 13 points for Arsenal. I think most people expected Arsenal to top this group, and that's exactly what they did. Now they got off to a shaky start. They lost their first game to Lens, but after that they did pick up with some important wins. This win here in particular was really impressive. 6-0 win over Lens, to double over Sevilla as well, and then the last game didn't really mean anything. They rotated, so I'm not going to hold them too badly for that. Pretty good for Arsenal, especially considering they haven't been in the Champions League for a while. They had a little hiccup early on and they recovered. I'm giving that a solid 8 out of 10. Solid 8 out of 10 for Arsenal. PSV came out in second with 2 wins, 3 draws, 1 loss, 8 scored, 10 conceded and 9 points. Now this was one of those groups where you could really, I think any of these 3 teams, most people would have picked to go through at the start, and PSV were the ones who came out on top. In fact, only losing 1 game is pretty impressive, and I thought PSV were the better of the sides in this group besides Arsenal. Yeah, they started off pretty decent. Draw against Sevilla, drew against Lens. They drew a lot of games. They scraped past Lens, and then that was a massive win, especially in the manner. It was like a late goal, wasn't it? A late comeback. Yeah, they were 2-0 down in the 92nd minute. That is huge. PSV to get to the knockout stage in a bit of a difficult group as well is impressive. They haven't been in the knockout stage in a little while as well. I can't quite remember the last time they were there. Pretty decent campaign for them. I'll give them a 7 out of 10. Lens came in third with 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, 6 goals scored, 11 conceded, and 8 points. Now, this was the first time Lens have qualified for the Champions League in like 20 years. So to come out in third in a pretty difficult group, that's pretty decent, you know. And they were only 1 point away from qualifying. They were pretty close in qualifying. I think they gave them a good account of themselves. As I said, they beat Arsenal in the first leg. They beat Sevilla as well. They were in almost every game. Didn't lose at home as well, unbeaten at home, which is good. Just this is the only blemish on their UCL campaign. That was pretty embarrassing, losing 6-0 there. But besides that, it was pretty good. Third place into the Europa League spots, I'm sure they'll take if you're Sevilla, I know it's not your thing to get into knockouts, but you have to finish third at least, and they didn't even do that, so 0 out of 10. Group C, Real Madrid, 6 wins, 0 draws, 0 losses, 16 scored, 7 conceded, 18 points. Perfect record for Real Madrid, 6 games, 6 wins. Couldn't really ask for more. Now, again, kind of like by most people expect them to get out of this group. Most people expect them to come top. To win every game, I think, people maybe had their reservations about that, considering Napoli, the season they had. However, when you look at how Napoli performed and how they've performed this season, it's clear this isn't the same Napoli side as last season. So, I think this group was actually, and same with Union Berlin, they were really bad. I think this group was a lot worse than expected. So I did kind of expect Real Madrid to win every game. However, having said that, to win every game is really impressive. They had some close calls against Union Berlin, but still, perfect record. Got the job done. Literally couldn't really get any better. Maybe the performances, a couple of them could have been better, but I'm not gonna fault them. I can't give them anything less than a 10 out of 10, really. Napoli. So Napoli came in second with 3 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses, 10 goals scored, 9 conceded, and 10 points. So as I said before, this really isn't the Napoli team of before last season. And they changed their manager midway through this campaign, but still got out of the group with a pretty much fairly easily. I thought they were okay. In the games against Madrid, they were very competitive, and unlucky really not to get anything out of a couple of those games. And then in the game against Braga and Union Berlin, I think they showed their class. Disappointing draw there though, but I thought it was a decent campaign for Napoli. Look, got out of the group, competitive against Real Madrid. You would have expected them to get out of the group. They did it. 7 out of 10. Braga came in third with 1 win, 1 draw, 4 losses, 6 scored, 12 conceded, and 4 points. To be honest, I expected a little bit better from Braga. I was a bit disappointed with them. They were a lot worse than I thought. Against Real Madrid, they were quite poor, but it's Real Madrid, I guess. And I expected a little bit better from them, to be honest. And against Union Berlin, there were a bit of close calls there, but they did get the job done in the end. It was late drama in that game. They qualified for the Europa League, which is good for them. They definitely have a better chance of going far in there. I don't know, maybe would have hoped for a little bit better, although they got third, so I give them a 5 out of 10, it's okay. And Union Berlin, 0 wins, 2 draws, 4 losses, 6 scored, 10 conceded, 2 points. Now, unlike Sevilla, I'm actually not going to give them a 0 out of 10, despite Sevilla not winning a game and finishing on 2 points. Because given the context, I think Union Berlin were actually okay. If you have a look at their games, every single game they were well and truly in. They gave every single team a real good fight. This game, for example, it took a 94th minute for them to lose at the Bernabeu. Oh god, I'm gonna have to do that every time. Let me okay, yeah. Anyway, they took a 94th minute winner for them to lose at the Bernabeu. Here, again, a 94th minute winner, and we lost to Braga. And then if we go back, don't worry, I won't click on the games again, but a narrow 1-0 loss to Napoli, a 1-1 draw away in Naples, a 1-1 draw against Braga, and then again, it was like a 90th minute goal against Real Madrid. So they were Sociedad and Benfica. A lot of people had it, but no one had Sociedad topping the group. So from the top of the group, really, really impressive. As I said, 2 goals conceded is absolutely superb. They were fantastic in all their games, went unbeaten as well. Fantastic, 10 out of 10. Inter Milan, 3 wins, 3 draws, 0 losses, 8 scored, 5 conceded, 12 points. Yeah, Inter, another good performance by them. Unbeaten as well, had the exact same record as Sociedad. However, they will be very, very disappointed if they didn't top this group, even though they got out of this group very comfortably and had some good performances, stayed unbeaten. To finish second in this group is very, very disappointing for Inter, given how they played, and it's going to give them a bit, or on paper, should give them a more difficult tie now. So, despite them getting out of the group, being unbeaten, looking good, I'm going to have to give them a bit of a lower grade for not topping the group. So I'm going to have to give them a 7 out of 10, just because, it's going to make their life really hard now. Benfica got 1 win, 1 draw, 4 losses, 7 goals scored, 11 conceded, and 4 points. This was a really disappointing campaign for Benfica. I mean, it started absolute shambles, like really, really bad. I expected them, based on last season, how they performed, to do, pretty well. They were really good last year in the Champions League. I thought they would get out of this group, give some real problems to Inter and Sociedad, but from the first few game weeks, it was clear they weren't. They lost 2-0 at home to Salzburg, lost to Inter, and lost to Sociedad, losing their first 3 games. In fact, their first 4, they've then lost to Sociedad again. But credit to them, because they did bounce back after that, losing your first 4, got a draw against Inter, and then beat Salzburg. And salvaged something from this group, got 3rd place, which, going into Europa League is pretty good for them, I guess. But they would have expected much, much more. Not a good campaign, 3 out of 10. Salzburg came in 4th with 1 win, 1 draw, 4 losses, 4 goals scored, 8 conceded, and 4 points. Now, if this was the you had told me this was Salzburg's record and where they would have finished at the start of this group, I would have said, that's an okay campaign. I kind of would have expected that, not the worst record. However, given how they performed in that first game, to go to Benfica and beat them, to finish last in the group, I think is a bit disappointing. I think they really could have got 3rd place. They really, really could have got it. And I'd be very disappointed not to get 3rd place. It was in their hands, but they lost that vital game against Benfica in the return leg. So they'll be disappointed that they didn't get 3rd place. Although it wasn't the worst performance in the world, so I'll give them a 3 out of 10. Group E, Atletico Madrid came out on top with 4 wins, 2 draws, 0 losses, 17 scored, 6 conceded, and 14 points. Fantastic from Atletico Madrid. They were, I think, they were top. No, okay, almost. They were almost the top goal scorers in the group stages, but they were a thoroughly entertaining team to watch in this group stage. Went unbeaten, 4 wins. Those 2 draws as well were, they slipped up a little bit, but I think one of them was against Celtic when we had 10 men. As I said, really entertaining. This was a group where, on paper, you expected them to go through, but it was clear there was going to be slip-ups. And historically, Atletico Madrid tend to slip up in those games where you expect them to win. But they didn't do that here. They got the job done. They looked really good. 9 out of 10. Second place, Lazio, 3 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses, 7 scored, 7 conceded, 10 points. Pretty good from Lazio. This was a tough group. I think a lot of people had them or Feyenoord going through, but Lazio got through kind of with ease. 10 points, that's a pretty good return. 3 wins is really good. Especially considering, they weren't necessarily in the best form in Serie A, but they rallied through 6 points. A little bit disappointed for Feyenoord, a little bit disappointing. I expected them to do a little bit better than that, and put up a little bit more of a fight. They were really good in a lot of their games, produced some entertaining games against the likes of Atletico Madrid, but in the end just didn't have that quality compared to Lazio, and as I said, I expected them to do a little bit better and potentially get out of this group. Finishing third though, not the end of the world. I think that would be a threat in the Europa League. I'll give it, first time in Champions League in a little while, I'll give them a 5 out of 10. Celtic got 1 win, 1 draw, 4 losses, 5 scored, 15 conceded and 4 points. Now Celtic, they eventually got their win. I believe it was in the last game week, wasn't it? Yeah, that win against Feyenoord. And that saves their rating a little bit. Otherwise, it was going to be a bit of a 0 out of 10 again. But they got a win. They got a draw. I think that was against Atletico Madrid, wasn't it, as well? Although overall, I think the quality showed they were miles away from the other clubs. Having said that, they had a late loss against Lazio. 4 points isn't the worst return. It wasn't the worst campaign from Celtic. I'll give them a 4. Group F, Group of Death. Dortmund came out on top with 3 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss, 7 scored, 4 conceded, 11 points. Now I don't know how many people had that when we predicted the Group of Death. People probably had Dortmund going through, but nobody had Dortmund topping the group. So massive credit to Dortmund. In fact, I'm giving them a 10 out of 10. I don't think many had them topping this group, so to top it, and they did it. They qualified with a game week spare as well. That is really, really impressive. Pretty comfortably top this group. Really, really good. And they didn't even start the campaign very well. Then they lost to PSG, didn't they? In the first game, yeah, 2-0. They didn't look great. Drew to Milan. People are thinking, they're not the best. They're going out, and then suddenly they just picked up form. A huge win in the San Siro. Huge credit to Dortmund. Huge credit to them. PSG in second, 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, 9 scored, 8 conceded, 8 points. Now most people had PSG coming out of this group. Most people had them topping the group. They did get out of the group, but they made hard work of it. Had to go right down to the wire. Right down to the wire. They needed in that last game week 17-year-old Zari Emery to bail them out. And if it wasn't for Dortmund maybe taking their foot off the gas because they hadn't already qualified, PSG might well be out of the competition. But in the end they got through, slapped up by Newcastle. That's a big blemish. Had a really good win over Milan. They got out, that's all that matters, but not the best campaign. 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. AC Milan, 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, 5 scored, 8 conceded, 8 points. Now, that's a little bit misleading in my opinion, that record, because I actually think Milan were quite poor. I expected a lot more from them in this group. They were really, really bad in a lot of the games. Like the PSG games, they were abysmal in my opinion. Losing at home to Dortmund was really poor. But they did salvage it, a big win away from home against Newcastle. Really, really saved them. And a win at home versus PSG. But, they were actually very close to going through. And they got 3rd place, which is pretty good because I think they'll be really good in the Europa League. One of the favourites for that competition now. But I expected a little bit more. Their performances were not the best. They still got in 3rd, almost qualified though. 4 out of 10. Newcastle, 1 win, 2 draws, 3 losses, 6 scored, 7 conceded, 5 points. Now, I'm not going to be too harsh on Newcastle here. This is the first time in the Champions League in a long time. I think most people, didn't really have them coming out of this group. Only getting 1 win is pretty disappointing. That 1 win was superb against PSG. They were very competitive in most of their games. games. However, I think the main thing here with Newcastle is they had a real chance to go through in this group. Like, after that win against PSG, they were in a really good position. They had to, in those 2 games against Dortmund, they just had to get something, and they were in pole position. Or if they had beat AC Milan, they would go through. But they didn't get it done. Lack of experience, maybe injuries, maybe. I don't think it was the worst campaign from Newcastle. Just a bit disappointing considering how well they started off. So I'm going to give them a 4 out of 10. Group G, Man City, 6 wins, 0 draws, 0 losses, 18 scored, 7 conceded, 18 points. Perfect record from City. Most goals scored out of anyone in this UCL campaign. Now, even though it's a perfect record, they had to work for it. Like against Leipzig, they had to come back from 2-0 down. Against Red Star, they were even 1-0 down at home. So they had to work hard for it, but in the end, 6 out of 6. Like Real Madrid, I can't really give them anything less than a 10 out of 10. RB Leipzig, 4 wins, 0 draws, 2 losses, 13 scored, 10 conceded, 12 points. Pretty good from Leipzig. Kind of what I expected. Lose 2 games to City and win all the other games. That's exactly what I expected and most people expected from them. And it gave City a really good game. It wasn't like when they faced last year. These 2 games were really, really competitive. So, yeah, Leipzig did exactly what I thought they would do. Competitive against City and beat the teams they should have. Good campaign, 8 out of 10. Young Boys in 3rd, 1 win, 1 draw, 4 losses, 7 scored, 13 conceded, 4 points. Yeah, look, it was a tough group for Young Boys. I wasn't really expecting too much, although I think they gave a good account of themselves in every single game. Managed to get 3rd place as well. You look at all their games, they were competitive. 2-1 against Leipzig, beat Red Star. Besides this one, but 10 men away from Man City. Yeah, that's tough. Even in this game, it was 3-1, but they were really good in that game, I thought. Got 3rd place, which is, I think, probably their aim out of this, to get that 3rd place, so they got that 5 out of 10. And Red Star came in last place with 0 wins, 1 draw, 5 losses, 7 scored, 15 conceded, 1 point. Look, same like Young Boys, it was a tough group. They were not really going to get anything out of it. At best, they were going to get 3rd place. They didn't get it. Unfortunately, they didn't get a win either, but, competitive as well in all their games. Gave Man City some really tough games. Yeah, not the best, but not expecting much, 4 out of 10. And finally, Group H, Barcelona came out in top, 4 wins, 0 draws, 2 losses, 12 scored, 6 conceded, and 12 points. Now, everyone expected Barca to get out of this group. They did get out of this group, but it wasn't the most convincing. It was not the most convincing in most of their games, barring the first game, which I think was against Antwerp, where they were fantastic. The other games were not the best. They actually lost Antwerp as well, which was pretty embarrassing. 2 losses isn't the best, but they got the job done. They topped the group, which is what people expected, what the expectation was, considering they haven't made it out the group stages in a long time. To top the group is pretty good. I'll give them a 7 out of 10. Porto in 2nd, 4 wins, 0 draws, 2 losses, 15 scored, 8 conceded, 12 points. Pretty good from Porto. I think most people expected them to get out of this group. It was a little bit difficult at moments, but in the end, beat Barcelona, I'm pretty sure, didn't they? Had an emphatic win in their final game versus Shakhtar. Pretty good, almost topped the group as well. Yeah, not bad from Porto, got out the group. Solid, 7 out of 10. Shakhtar in 3rd with 3 wins, 0 draws, 3 losses, 10 scored, 12 conceded, and 9 points. Now that's actually pretty crazy. Shakhtar won 3 games and didn't actually get out of the groups. That's pretty disappointing, but they can hold their heads up high. They did pretty well in most of their games. They were pretty good. A narrow loss away from home versus Barca. Actually beat Barcelona as well. That's huge for them as a club. Beat Antwerp as well. Just disappointing in those games against Porto, especially in that last game, considering they could have gone through in that game. Yeah, but 9 points, Europa League qualification, 3 wins, win against Barca. That's pretty decent, to be honest. I'll give them a solid 6 out of 10. And finally, Antwerp, 1 win, 0 draws, 5 losses, 6 scored, 17 conceded, and 3 points. Now, it was a tough group for Antwerp. This is, I believe, their first time in a UCL. Wasn't the best, almost lost every single game, but that last game salvaged it. They beat Barcelona and got a win, and it was against Barcelona. In their first time at UCL, wasn't great, but as I said, they beat Barca, which is pretty nice for them. So we'll give them a 3 out of 10. Alright, there we go. If I was going to say the team of the group stage for me, given expectations and difficulty of group, I'm actually going to say Dortmund. I'm actually going to say Dortmund to top the group of death. I think that's very, very impressive. And my, I guess, losers of the group stage has to be Man United. To finish bottom of that group is an absolute disgrace. Alright, let me know if you agree with those ratings. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and if you have enjoyed, please leave a like, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in another